The enduring charm of shabby chic garden design lies in its perfect balance of carefully curated imperfection, romantic nostalgia, and lived-in elegance. This distinctive garden style draws inspiration from traditional English cottage gardens, where climbing roses, lavender borders, and weathered garden gates create spaces that feel both timeless and personal. By embracing the beauty of aged materials, soft floral patterns, and handcrafted elements, shabby chic gardens offer a refreshing alternative to more structured, contemporary outdoor spaces.
Welcome to Rustic Elegance. Let's embark on a journey through the beauty of rustic decor, celebrating the warmth, simplicity, and natural charm of this timeless design.
Shabby Chic Garden Dreams. Romantic English cottage decor with vintage florals and DIY accents. What makes this approach particularly appealing is its accessibility and forgiving nature. Unlike rigidly formal garden designs that require precise maintenance, shabby chic gardens celebrate the gentle imperfections that come with time and use. The patina on a garden bench, the soft weathering of terracotta pots, or the romantic sprawl of cottage flowers beyond their borders. This relaxed philosophy creates spaces that feel authentically yours rather than artificially perfected, inviting both relaxation and creative expression in your outdoor sanctuary. As we explore the elements that define this enchanting garden style, you'll discover practical ideas for creating your own romantic retreat, regardless of your space limitations or budget constraints. From vintage-inspired plant selections and upcycled garden furniture to DIY projects and atmospheric lighting solutions, these suggestions will help you transform any outdoor area into a shabby chic haven that combines old-world charm with personal expression. Whether you have a sprawling country plot or a modest urban balcony, these ideas can be scaled and adapted to create your own perfect garden escape. 1. Shabby chic garden ideas for small spaces. Transform even the tiniest patio or balcony into a romantic retreat by focusing on vertical elements like weathered trellises adorned with climbing roses or vintage wall planters filled with cascading ivy and sweet alyssum. 2. Maximize your small garden's potential with multifunctional pieces such as a distressed wooden ladder repurposed as a tiered plant stand or a vintage dresser converted into a charming potting bench with display space above. 3. Create the illusion of depth through thoughtfully placed mirrors with peeling paint frames positioned to reflect your garden plantings, effectively doubling your visual greenery while adding that essential shabby chic element of elegant aging. 2. Vintage floral accents for outdoor garden. Integrate authentic vintage-inspired floral patterns throughout your garden using weatherproof fabric cushions and faded rose prints for seating areas, hanging bunting made from repurposed floral sheets along fences, or painting delicate flower motifs on terracotta pots and garden furniture. 4. These soft floral accents instantly create the romantic English cottage garden atmosphere, while providing visual cohesion throughout your outdoor space. 5. Layer different floral scales and patterns, from large cabbage roses to delicate forget-me-nots, to create depth and interest while maintaining the feminine, nostalgic feel essential to shabby chic garden design. 3. Romantic English cottage garden design. Create an authentic English cottage garden by embracing a carefully planned yet seemingly random planting style where climbing roses, lavender, foxgloves, and hollyhocks intermingle in soft, billowing arrangements that spill over pathways and garden borders. 4. Incorporate traditional cottage garden structures like a simple arbor covered in climbing roses, a charming picket fence with peeling white paint, or a rustic garden gate that frames the entrance to your romantic outdoor retreat. Focus on a plant palette featuring pastel blooms, silver-leafed plants, and plenty of fragrant herbs that will attract butterflies and bees, enhancing the sensory experience while creating that quintessential English cottage garden ecosystem. Four, DIY Shabby Chic Garden Decor projects. Transform ordinary garden items into shabby chic treasures by whitewashing terracotta pots, distressing wooden garden signs with inspirational quotes, or creating romantic hanging planters from vintage teacups and china suspended with delicate ribbons or macrame hangers. Repurpose household items like old wooden ladders painted in soft pastels to display potted plants, vintage bird cages filled with trailing ivy and small flowering plants, or antique picture frames mounted on garden walls to create living plant portraits. These handcrafted projects add personal character while achieving the authentic shabby chic aesthetic of beautiful imperfection and creative reuse that makes each garden uniquely charming. Five, English country garden ideas for small homes. Create a cottage-inspired courtyard by defining intimate garden rooms using climbing plants on trellises, creating the illusion of expansiveness through a series of connected but distinct outdoor spaces, even in limited areas. Incorporate traditional English plantings adapted for smaller spaces, such as dwarf varieties of roses, lavender borders along pathways, and container-friendly herbs that provide both culinary benefits and authentic cottage garden scents. Add quintessential English garden touches like a small water feature in an antique stone basin, a cozy seating nook with weathered bench, or a tiny tea table set with mismatched vintage china, perfect for morning coffee or afternoon garden enjoyment in your modest but magical cottage garden. 6. Upcycled garden furniture for a shabby chic vibe. Give new life to second-hand furniture by transforming worn wooden chairs, tables, and benches with chalk paint in soft whites, pale blues, or gentle greens, then distressing the edges to reveal hints of wood or underlying color for that perfectly imperfect shabby chic aesthetic. Reimagine unexpected items as garden furniture. Perhaps an old iron headboard becomes a decorative garden bench backing, a vintage door transforms into a rustic outdoor table, or antique drawers find new purpose as raised planting beds with built-in character. Complete your upcycled furniture arrangements with weatherproof cushions in faded floral patterns, soft linens, or repurposed grain sacks that add comfort while enhancing the romantic cottage garden atmosphere. Seven. Cottagecore garden design ideas. Embrace the cottagecore aesthetic in your garden by creating whimsical, storybook elements like a curved pathway lined with wildflowers, a rustic swing hanging from an old apple tree, or a tiny fairy garden nestled among your flowering plants. Incorporate traditional cottage crafts into your garden design through handmade elements like woven willow edging for garden beds, simple wooden signs with hand-painted plant names, or mason jars filled with freshly cut garden blooms placed on outdoor tables. Focus on creating an immersive experience that celebrates simple pleasures and natural beauty. Plant herb gardens and berry patches for harvesting, arrange comfortable seating for reading or crafting outdoors, and include bird feeders and butterfly-attracting plants to encourage wildlife within your enchanted cottage garden retreat. Eight. Vintage-inspired outdoor decor for cozy gardens. Create intimate garden nooks using vintage privacy screens painted in soft pastels and adorned with climbing roses or clematis, establishing secluded seating areas perfect for quiet contemplation or intimate conversations. Incorporate authentic vintage garden accessories like enamelware watering cans, galvanized metal buckets repurposed as planters, and antique garden tools displayed as decorative elements against fences or walls. Layer your outdoor spaces with textile elements that bring indoor comfort outside, weatherproof lace table runners, faded quilts for picnics, and vintage-inspired outdoor rugs in soft florals or faded patterns that define seating areas while adding essential shabby chic texture and warmth. Nine. Creating a beautiful English cottage garden on a budget. Start your budget-friendly cottage garden by propagating plants from cuttings or dividing existing perennials, focusing on traditional cottage varieties that multiply generously like lavender, daisies, and yarrow, creating abundant displays without significant investment. Hunt for garden treasures at flea markets, thrift stores, and yard sales, where you'll find affordable vintage containers, weathered garden ornaments, and unique decorative pieces that bring authentic character to your space for a fraction of retail prices. Save on hardscaping by using reclaimed materials like broken concrete pieces for charming pathway stepping stones, fallen branches for rustic garden edging, or salvaged brick for creating small patio shabby chic garden design. Ten. Shabby chic floral arrangements for garden spaces. Create stunning outdoor floral displays by combining cottage garden flowers in vintage containers, perhaps roses, lavender, and delphinium loosely arranged in a chippy painted watering can or a collection of mismatched vintage pitchers grouped on a garden table. Incorporate unexpected elements into your garden arrangements by using old wooden toolboxes filled with moss and planted with spring bulbs, vintage colanders holding cascading herbs, or antique bird cages transformed into living plant sculptures with flowering vines. 11. DIY vintage garden planters in pots. Transform ordinary terracotta pots into shabby chic treasures using simple techniques like whitewashing, crackle finishing, or decoupage with vintage botanical prints, creating container gardens with instant character and charm. Repurpose unexpected vintage items into unique planters, perhaps antique toolboxes, chipped enamelware, worn wicker baskets lined with moss, or vintage wooden crates that bring history and texture to your garden displays. Create eye-catching container arrangements by combining cottage garden favorites like geraniums, ivy, and sweet alyssum with herbs and ornamental grasses. Creating rustic garden paths with shabby chic style. Design meandering garden pathways using reclaimed materials like weathered brick, broken flagstone pieces arranged in mosaic patterns, or gravel mixed with vintage glass fragments that catch the light as you stroll through your garden. Edge your paths with informal plantings of lavender, catmint, or woolly thyme that soften the boundaries and release fragrance when brushed against, adding sensory delight to the practical function of garden navigation. Enhance pathway charm with strategic placement of shabby chic elements along the route, perhaps a distressed garden bench for resting, a collection of vintage lanterns for evening illumination. How to incorporate floral prints in garden furniture. Bring indoor comfort outside by recovering outdoor cushions with weatherproof fabrics featuring classic English floral prints like cabbage roses, delicate sprigs, or faded botanical patterns in soft, muted colors. Create visual cohesion by extending your floral theme throughout the garden, perhaps through hand-painted flower motifs on wooden furniture, custom-made fabric banners hung from trees or pergolas, or vintage floral china repurposed as bird feeders and garden ornaments. (14) Charming garden fencing ideas with a shabby chic look. Transform ordinary garden boundaries with shabby chic fencing treatments like whitewashed picket sections with deliberately peeling paint, woven willow panels adorned with climbing roses, or reclaimed wooden gates with vintage hardware and a patina of natural weathering. Personalize your fence line by adding decorative elements such as vintage china plates mounted as garden art, small window boxes filled with trailing flowers, or delicate fairy lights woven through the structure for evening enchantment. Use your garden fencing as both boundary and backdrop by training climbing plants like clematis, jasmine, or honeysuckle along its length, softening the structure while adding fragrance and creating the perfect shabby chic blend of structural form and natural abundance. (15) DIY shabby chic garden art projects. Create personalized garden art that enhances your shabby chic theme by repurposing vintage items. Transform old wooden windows into garden mirrors, weathered shutters into decorative trellises, or chipped teacups into charming bird feeders. Add whimsical touches throughout your garden with hand-painted signs featuring favorite quotes or garden wisdom, stepping stones decorated with mosaic pieces from broken china, or wind chimes crafted from vintage silverware and crystal pieces. Cluster your handcrafted elements to create vignettes that tell your personal story. Perhaps a collection of painted terracotta pots arranged on vintage wooden steps, a gallery of framed pressed flowers mounted on a garden wall, or a display of handcrafted birdhouses painted in complementary pastel shades. (16) Outdoor lighting ideas for shabby chic gardens. Create magical evening ambience in your shabby chic garden with vintage-inspired lighting solutions like mason jars filled with fairy lights hanging from tree branches, antique lanterns with LED candles lining pathways, or string lights woven through arbors and pergolas. Repurpose unique vintage items as lighting features, transform old chandeliers with solar-powered bulbs for garden seating areas, fill antique bird cages with battery-operated light strings, or place collections of different-sized candle holders with protective glass hurricanes on outdoor tables and steps. (17) Cozy cottage garden furniture ideas. Create inviting seating areas with furniture that balances comfort and shabby chic style. Look for pieces with gently curved lines, weathered finishes, and romantic details like scrollwork or turned legs that reference traditional English garden design. Arrange conversation groupings that encourage lingering in the garden, perhaps a small bistro set tucked beneath a rose-covered arbor, a pair of comfortable chairs facing a favorite garden view, or a vintage bench positioned to catch morning sunlight while enjoying coffee. Enhance the cozy appeal with thoughtful accessories like outdoor pillows in faded floral prints, small side tables for beverages and garden books, and soft throws for cooler evenings, all in a coordinated palette of soft whites, gentle pastels, and faded patterns that maintain the romantic shabby chic aesthetic. (18) Upcycling ideas for shabby chic garden decorations. Transform ordinary objects into extraordinary garden features through creative upcycling. Convert an old wooden ladder into a vertical plant display. Repurpose a vintage bicycle as a charming planter stand, or turn chipped teapots and sugar bowls into whimsical succulent containers. Give new purpose to architectural salvage by incorporating elements like weathered corbels as garden shelf brackets, old window frames as trellises for climbing plants, or vintage doorknobs mounted on reclaimed wood as unique garden hooks for hanging lanterns and plant baskets. (19) Gardening tips for a vintage-inspired outdoor retreat. Select plant varieties that evoke traditional English cottage gardens, heirloom roses, lavender, foxgloves, and forget-me-nots, arranging them in romantic, slightly untamed groupings that suggest they've grown naturally over time rather than being recently installed. Practice sustainable gardening methods that align with the shabby chic ethos of reuse and environmental consciousness. Create your own compost, collect rainwater in vintage barrels, and choose organic pest control methods that protect beneficial insects and birds. (20) Shabby chic garden furniture restoration tips. Breathe new life into tired garden furniture by mastering basic restoration techniques like gentle cleaning with mild soap and water, repairing minor damage with wood filler or epoxy, and applying chalk paint in soft, romantic colors that complement your garden's palette. Create the signature shabby chic distressed finish by strategically sanding edges and high points after painting, revealing hints of wood or undercoat colors to suggest years of gentle wear and loving use. Conclusion. The enduring appeal of shabby chic garden design lies in its remarkable ability to create spaces that feel simultaneously nostalgic and fresh, carefully designed yet effortlessly natural. Unlike more rigid garden styles, this approach celebrates the beauty found in gentle aging, repurposed treasures, and the romantic abundance of traditional cottage plantings. By embracing these principles, you create not just an outdoor space but a living expression of personal style and values, one that honors history while welcoming the natural evolution that comes with time and seasons. As you implement these ideas in your own outdoor space, remember that the most successful shabby chic gardens evolve gradually, accumulating character and charm through thoughtful additions and the natural patina that comes with time. Allow your garden to tell your story through collections of meaningful objects, favorite plants, and spaces designed for how you truly want to live outdoors. Whether you have a sprawling country garden or a tiny urban balcony, these principles can transform any space into a personal sanctuary that combines romantic nostalgia, natural beauty, and the distinctive elegance of shabby chic style. A garden that feels like coming home to a sweeter, gentler time.